I'm Maria Serrao here at Dodger Stadium, and here's your Playing the Field Extra. Well, it's not very often that we get to see a real championship ring close up and personal. Now, it's not the Raiders ring, Brian Golden, but still very impressive.
Well, it's an honor to visit about this with the Princess of the Press Box at Dodger Stadium and the conscience of LA sports media. But it is about as large and ostentatious as a Raiders championship ring. You know, the Raiders haven't made a Super Bowl ring in 30 years. Maybe the Jethawks were trying to make them feel better about that.
Brian, talk about, your name is on this ring. Talk about how this ring came to you from the Jethawks.
Well, Maria, I was totally stunned. They called me in December to come over to the office and said, "We have our ownership would like you to have. We're going to have several people in the community who played key roles in making the Jethawks possible back in 1996, and so we want you to receive one of those rings." So there's my name and the Houston Astros logo on there because that's the parent club now, yep. And then the California League logo. And the night that they gave them out, Charlie Blaney, the president of the Cal League, was behind me. I said, "Wait a minute, we should be playing ruffles and flourishes, hail to the chief of the..." No, we want you going first. So our paper really did play a major role in making the Jethawks a possibility, putting pressure on the city of Lancaster. And of course, they brought in the Cal League and our stadium and everything else, and you know the stories about it. Yes. It's been better than we could have, even the big loudmouth me could have even imagined 20 years ago.
Brian, you get to cover, of course, major leagues, all the pro sports, and the minor leagues. What's the biggest difference when you talk to minor league players?
Well, they all want to get to where these guys up here are. What they take for granted, the lifestyle and the remuneration and the adoration of the fans. And the great thing is, when you meet kids, we come up, and you know, it's a shared experience, Maria. Like the great Jim Murray, the greatest sports writer of all time, once wrote that baseball players are the guardians of little boys' dreams. Little boys from 8 to 80. True. And not all of us have the dream to play in the major leagues, but only a few people get to play. So in a sense, they're kind of like stewards of that dream for people. And when we meet these kids in the minor leagues, people like Dan Ugler, Jose Altuve, who formed the depth chart for the National League second base in the All-Star game in Kansas City last year. And you meet them at this level, they still come over and hug you. They still talk to you first. They don't big league you. They remember that experience. They appreciate the fact that they were loved for who they were, not what potentially they could become as a baseball card investment or you know, later on a future prospect. And that's the part that's exciting, to share the dream when they get up to this level.
Well, and I think the dream goes for all of us that love talking to these guys, just getting to know them because they're people just like everybody else out there.
Yeah, and you know, Maria, some of the things, the lifestyle part of Major League Baseball, people ought to come up to Lancaster or down and see these kids getting $14 a day meal money, carrying their own bags, going in together, 6 guys. And Ken Griffey Jr. told me the most fun he had in the minor leagues, 6 of them lived in a 3-story townhouse. They made $650 a month after taxes back in 1988 in San Bernardino, and yet they helped transform the California League into what it is today. And Junior still has those memories, notwithstanding he's on the clock for Cooperstown now. So it's always neat when people can enjoy that experience, and you see what they go through in the minor leagues, and now you understand why they get treated the way they do up here.
Well, and you know what? I think it's a really good point as well, because they really appreciate it once they get there, having gone through the minors.
Yeah, and I'll tell you one quick story. We had Juan Pierre play with us in 1999 in the California Fall League, and his the host family, Rex Grizel, the Jethawks booster, is a huge Giants fan from Fresno who's building the Stealth Bomber and was involved with the 21 Stealth Bombers and the 6 space shuttles. And when Juan got to the major leagues, every time he came to the West Coast, he left tickets for Rex and his wife at AT&T Park, where you had to have somebody die and will you tickets when Barry Bonds was in his heyday. So that shows you that connections you make in the minor leagues endure forever.
Well, and Juan Pierre, one of the classiest players in all of Major League Baseball, still love to chat with him when he comes to Dodger Stadium.
One of the best. And you know, we've had 12 former Jethawks choose to come back and live in Lancaster to raise their families after their careers ended. Wow. So, I mean, it tells you a little bit about the community. A couple of years ago, Damaso Marte on the Yankees came in after they were in Phoenix. This was 2010, I think, 2011, and they had a night off. And most of his friends were over in the marina or West Hollywood, whatever, partying. Damaso rented a car and drove 70 miles up to Lancaster. And I thought maybe it's because he might have some family connections there that we didn't know about. No, he said, you know what? This was the nicest place I ever went in the minor leagues. Everybody loved me here, and I appreciate that. And here's a guy with 2 World Series rings now.
Well, Brian Golden, we love having you here, and they're so lucky to have you covering the Jethawks in Lancaster, as are we, right here in Dodger Stadium.
We are all of us, you guys, all of us now, come on, are blessed that we get to hang around with the Princess of the Press Box. And we're lucky that she gets to play the field, and we're just all run out in the field hoping that we'll get your attention. So thank you, Your Highness.
Well, anytime. Brian Golden, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you, Maria.